Hello there. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. Thank you once again for joining us here at Crazy Talks with Wise People with Mary Angela Talk. Thank you. Well, as you can see, we've got a very lovely guest. She she reminds me of Jane Seymour, right? She's very lovely. Well, she works at columnist for Kizzy Health and Well-Being Journal. She works at Health and Well-Being. She's a coach for health and well-being, and she's got a very interesting topic to talk about today, and that is about the causes of food addiction and how we can get healed out of food addiction. And she went to Dorcan Technology College and she graduated at Oxford Brookes University. Thank you so much. I'd like you all to meet Sarah Jane Clark from Wiltshire, England. We used to live
Lovely.
there anyway. Okay. Yes, please greet us.
Yeah, lovely. Thank you so much for inviting me to talk to you today about my story, my journey, if you like, and how my own personal experience have led to me becoming a coach and an expert in weight loss and health and well-being. I've used all my own negative experiences to turn them into a positive well-being group. I run a membership group. We meet weekly online, so I deal with ladies all from all over the country, and we kind of look at the emotional side of comfort eating, emotional eating, and food addiction. So, using food to numb our pain, just like any other addiction. But this particular one is food because that's what I did myself. And I've lost over 12 and a half
Emotional
stone.
eating.
Yeah.
And
And I think
another one is.
um, food addiction.
Mhm.
So it's
Caused by
using,
what do you mean by emotional eating?
so most of the people that I work with, they
Mhm.
don't feel good about themselves. They don't feel enough, not worthy enough, not pretty enough, not thin enough, not clever enough.
Mhm.
Um, and to fill that empty void inside,
Mhm.
instead of letting those comfortable emotions rise up and have conversations with people,
Mhm.
um, they push those emotions down with food. So just like an
Mhm.
alcoholic would drink to numb emotional
Mhm.
pain,
Mhm.
the people that I deal with use food to
Mhm.
numb the
Mhm.
pain, emotional pain, instead of kind of getting to the root cause of what's going on inside themselves.
Uh-huh. So it's a synonymous to gluttony.
Um, it is, but I think it is, yeah, very much like that. But it's not being able to control it, and that's where the addiction comes into it. We know we're harming ourselves, but
Mhm.
we cannot stop. It's an addiction. And like with every addiction, you've got to get underneath that.
Mhm.
You've
So
you've got to,
don't you think it's also the void is also caused by some spiritual void?
oh, massively, because you feel very ashamed that you can't control what you eat.
Mhm.
So it's a very lonely, isolated journey because you don't share it with anyone, you don't talk about it. And I think spirituality and being part of a community, like-minded community,
Mhm.
fills that void. But if you're hiding this part of your life because you tend to eat in secret and you tend to not tell anybody about it,
Mhm.
so you can't fill it with the spiritual cup, that we all need because
Mhm.
we're not talking to anyone about it. And I think because I am on a social media platform talking about it, they realize they're not alone. They realize that they are not the only ones. And they realize through my own experiences that you can overcome it.
All right, my question is, what if they eat nutritious food?
Yeah.
Like,
And yeah,
not junk food, because it's really like junk food really makes
yeah.
them gain weight.
If you
But
if
if they
you
just eat fruits and not
yeah,
junk food, something that's really nutritious,
nutritious.
that's good
Well,
for the
that's
body.
the helpful part of recovery. Once they start dealing with the emotions, they kind of realize that their food choice, the food that they're
Mhm.
choosing to eat, needs to be healthy and nutritious. But it's
Mm,
like everything. If we are addicted, I mean, you and I both know that junk food, high sugar food, is really, really addictive. And
mm,
it's engineered. Food manufacturing companies are not stupid. They're making an awful lot of money because they put the right amount of sugar, the right amount of salt, the right amount of fat in these nasty products to make them really addictive. There's a certain brand of crisp, and their tagline is, once you pop, you can't stop. And you literally cannot stop eating them. You have one and you're like, oh my goodness, your brain
what
is
is
telling you to
it?
go
What
back,
is it?
go back. It's called
Sugar. I mean, sugary,
sugar
sugary
food,
food. Yeah,
carbohydrates, fat,
carbos.
salts, all of it is very highly addictive. But of course, you don't get that in natural food. But if you don't address the reasons why you're behaving in a certain way, you will always go back to it because it's familiar, it's what you know. So
Mm-hmm.
it's really important that, you know, we educate ourselves. Part of my work that I do with my clients is not only helping them work through the painful emotions inside, but it's
Mm-hmm.
talking to them about the importance of eating healthy, nutritious, real food and not the processed junk food.
Not
So
processed
it's
junk
not,
food. Yeah.
yeah,
So you give them, you recommend proper dieting to your
yeah,
clients.
yeah, yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Uh-huh. Okay. So how do they start disciplining themselves? How do they heal themselves from food addiction?
Well, I always go back to childhood experiences. There
Mm-hmm.
will normally be a point of trauma in their lives or lack of affection. Most of the clients that I work with
Mm-hmm.
are people pleasers, so they're just exhausted and they're very good at giving love to others, but not to
But
themselves.
not to themselves. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. And every client is unique and individual. So we try to unpick why they keep reaching out for this food that they know is harming them. Why? So it's getting underneath that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of, I suppose, the psychology behind the eating.
Yes, yes. So how do you heal their childhood trauma?
Um, they all use different methods. I mean, most of all, just by talking and working through it and understanding it. I think a lot of people are very unaware of what's gone on in their lives. And by
Yeah.
talking and sharing that, it brings it to the forefront. And
Mm-hmm.
then they connect the two. They're not able to connect that experience with eating that food.
Mm-hmm.
And I just help them connect the dots. As any
Mm-hmm.
therapist does, we can't tell them what to do. We lead them down a path so that they find their own way, they make their own connections and change the way they behave. So,
Mm-hmm.
these painful emotions don't go away. You just find healthy coping mechanisms. And being part of a like-minded community that I have created is really, really helpful for that.
Uh-huh. Yeah, because I've been following you on social media for quite a while,
Thank
and I was looking at your posts, and you're a very good testimony of
you.
of a very positive result that your coaching um
Yeah,
has been doing. So you even posted like you were overweight, super overweight
yeah,
before, and then
yeah, yeah,
shrank down to who you are now.
yeah,
And that was like to me amazing. So
yeah, yeah.
how did you heal yourself, and how long did it take you to lose such, maybe you
So
lost
much
like
fun.
50 kilos, right?
Well, I work in old-fashioned weight, so it's like 12 and a half stone. So I was nearly 22 stone and I'm 9 stone 10 now.
Mm-hmm.
So I was more than double what I am
Yes,
now.
I could see your photo, like your old photo
Yeah.
before, and I said,
Yeah.
"Oh wow, amazing! How many years did it take you to lose weight?"
So, well, it was a gradual process, but I've kind of been this size now. I think it was my late 20s I started to lose weight.
Ah,
I'd been to
mm-hmm,
the GP
mm-hmm,
and I was having some health issues, and she basically said to me, "You're not going to make it to the age of 40 if you carry on the way you are."
mm-hmm,
So I had a really, you know, a big shock, health shock, and decided that I needed to make changes. I
mm-hmm,
knew that, but at the time I was in a very toxic relationship with somebody who treated me very badly,
mm-hmm,
and I felt great shame about that and blamed myself and
mm-hmm,
would eat to numb the pain. So
mm-hmm,
I had to really look at the people around me in my life, change that, end relationships, move on, and just start learning to respect and love myself. I started reading a lot of books about health, nutrition, about self-care, self-worth, self-love. And yeah, and I just did it by eating real food, making small changes one at a time, and then it's not such a big shock and you can keep going. So just silly things like I would only ever drink Coke and coffee. And
mm-hmm,
so I cut the Coke out, introduced water, and that felt amazing, a game
mm-hmm,
changer to be properly hydrated. I stopped having takeaways and would cook at home, proper food. And, your body says thank you very much in the way it responds to that. And
mm-hmm,
each change I made, I felt better and better and better. And,
mm-hmm,
that just kept me motivated and inspired me to keep going.
mm-hmm. That was I think you are more of an effective health coach because you've been there, you've
Yeah,
experienced it, and when you share your experiences to your clients,
yeah,
you you can empathize with them,
yeah,
and you are more convincing in a way because you speak from within you and
yeah,
imparting something that you believe in.
yes,
You've experienced it. Wow,
yeah.
how many women and men have you helped since then? How long have you been doing this?
So I started my Facebook group 4 years ago.
Mm,
I have around 2,000 followers on there,
mm,
um, and paid members. I've helped probably, gosh, because I've run courses. I think it's got to be close to 100 people. It's got to be close to 100 people. And I mean, I'm changing their lives. I met one of my clients this morning for a walk and she's lost 5 stone. But it's not only that, she's glowing with vitality. Her skin is glowing because she's eating better. She's moving her body, she's more energetic, she's more confident, and most importantly, she loves and values herself more. So
mm,
I'm watching, it's extremely rewarding the work that I do with my clients. And
mhm.
you made a very, very good point there, about you can't learn from a book
Yeah.
what I know.
Mm,
I've lived it. I've walked the walk
mm,
and I know
yeah.
how they feel.
Mm,
So thank you for saying that because that means a lot. And I'm really passionate about this subject because really I feel like I've set myself free. The
mm,
food used to control me, just like any other addiction. But now I feel like I've taken back control of my life. And that feels
yeah.
good.
Do you
That
give
feels
them
good.
some programs to follow? Like, do you give them daily routines to follow?
Well, I talk about the importance of daily routines.
Mm,
So like my own, I get up early every morning, I exercise before I start work.
mm-hmm,
And I wake up every morning and I set my intentions for the day. So every day I wake up and I say, I am choosing to be the healthiest version of myself today. And then that reflects in every choice you make, on what you're eating, what you're drinking, what you're watching on the television, what you're choosing not to watch,
Mm-hmm.
you're reading, the people you socialize with, it all makes a part of who we are.
Yeah.
So I'm just imparting on them the importance of moving your body. Our bodies and machines are supposed to move. And I think a
Mm-hmm.
lot of us, especially that sit at a desk all day, we can go 8 hours without not moving. And that's so bad for our physical and mental health. So I talk to them about the importance of that. I talk to them the importance of nutrition. So there's not an area that we don't cover really, because it's treating the food addiction holistically as part of everything. It's not just about food. It's not just about exercise. It's about doing little bits on every area of your life
Mm-hmm.
and doing them daily, not just, I'm going to do that for 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
It's about learning a new lifestyle.
Right, right.
Yeah.
That's actually totally relearning, right?
Yeah.
Relearning. Uh, um, so how do you train them from the very beginning? Because there are a lot of people who are really hooked into it, and it
Mm.
seemed like they are helpless to get out of it.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
how do you ask them to establish their daily routine, setting their intentions, choosing the right kind of food? How do you help them succeed?
So the first thing we do is we look at what they're currently doing. We look at
Uh,
where they are.
assessment. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What are you doing? What are you eating?
Mm-hmm.
When are you eating?
Mm-hmm.
And also the way they look at food. So
Mm-hmm.
most of them are looking at food as a reward to themselves.
Mm-hmm.
This food that's very toxic, that's
Mm-hmm.
going to lead to long-term
Mm-hmm.
decreasing in their health. They're looking at it as a reward, as a treat.
Mm-hmm.
So we change the way they view that first. Well, actually, really, you're not giving yourself a treat. What you're doing
Mm-hmm.
is shortening your life expectancy by eating this. And the first thing I do is say, right, for the next 7 days, you're going to change one habit for a healthy
Mm-hmm.
one. So we look at
Mm-hmm.
the daily habits at what they're doing now,
Mm-hmm.
because if we try to change too much at once,
Mm-hmm.
they will never sustain it. They will feel overwhelmed. They will feel like a failure again, and it will stop. And that's why I called my support group Step by Step with Sarah Jane, because it's changing
Step by
one
step.
step at a time. And then they'll come back to me after the first week and they're like, wow, I feel so much better from making that one change. So then we go, right, let's look at your day. What are you doing? Let's see what's the next thing we can introduce. And we introduce one new healthy habit at a time. And that's where we begin, literally with that one step. But I think by the time they are brave enough to reach out to me and become a client of mine, they're normally at rock bottom by then and they're ready. When people are
Wow.
spending money and investing in you as a coach,
Mm-hmm.
they are they are like that, they're all zoned out with everything else. They're like, I am desperate to change now. And yeah, and the last thing I want to do is overwhelm them and tell them you've got to change everything at once. So we start very basic at the beginning, but it works because they keep
Yeah, I know
doing it.
it works because it worked for you. That
Yeah,
is
yeah,
the best because you've tried it.
yeah.
You're not just getting information from the air.
I
You're
know.
really
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
getting information from within you. And
yeah,
that is very credible. Your testimony
yeah,
is very credible because you've been there, you know?
yeah. Yeah. Thank
Would you
you.
like to invite our viewers to follow your Facebook, WhatsApp,
Oh, yes.
whatever social media you have?
Yeah.
Okay,
So
please do. Please
thank
follow. I mean,
you.
if you've got a food addiction, which most of us really are food addicts, and we call ourselves sometimes foodie, but we really do not know that being foodie or being addicted to food is just a result of some emotional problems or traumas in the past. And we sort of like we there's a word for that. It's like we refocus. Is that what you call refocus? It's like we deny that we are addicted. We deny that we've got some emotional issues or some trauma that needed to be healed, and we just there's a technical word for that in psychology.
Yeah,
Displacement, I think, I
that's it.
got it.
Displacement.
Yeah, it's a displacement. There, I still remember my university psychology. That was like a long time ago. But yeah, it's a form of displacement. You know, just for fun. Just watch her YouTube. You have YouTube channel too, right?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook,
Mm.
Instagram, YouTube, and also on TikTok. And it's Step by Step with Sarah Jane.
Yes, I'm going to write it down though.
Oh,
But
thank
please just
you.
mention, I'm going to write it down below. So you see, my friends, ladies and gentlemen, I really interview people who are very significant and relevant here in my channel. I just don't take chances. I don't want us to listen to junks anyway.
Yeah.
So yes, kindly follow her channel, YouTube channel, Facebook page, Instagram, and learn from her. Just learn from her. Okay, Sarah, will you please invite our friends to join you?
Please come and join. You might just pick one thing up that
Mm,
helps you feel better. We all want to live the most vibrant life, don't we? And our health is our biggest investment. When you're investing in your health and you're taking care of your body and your mind, it shows. I just think you glow differently, don't you?
mm, perfect. That is wonderful. Thank you so much. And
Thank
please,
you.
please, ladies and gentlemen too, follow her channel. I will be writing her YouTube channel, Instagram, Facebook, whatever it is, whatever channel you have, we're going to write it down below. Click and then join her. Yeah, you've got yeah, she already mentioned she's got a Facebook page, YouTube channel, and Instagram as well.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
Right. Would you like to is there any, like advice to our viewers before we go? Like advise them as to how they should consume food.
I think you ask yourself before you eat this, was this food made in a factory?
Mhm.
And if it is made in a factory, don't eat it. That's my biggest piece of advice.
Mm. Yes, you're right. We're actually started we decided to start planting here.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Mm.
Yeah.
All right. So that winds up our interview with our beautiful guest here, Sarah Jane Clark. Maybe next time you can talk about your articles, or would you like them also to? Oh, yeah, before we go, please invite them to read your articles.
Yeah, I write for an online magazine
Mm-hmm.
called Kizzy Health Journal. It's on the internet. Um, and I've got so many articles on there. I think I've got about 12 or 13 just
Mm-hmm.
different personal articles from on my journey and my experiences. And
Mm-hmm.
again, you can learn something from that. Um, a lot about my journey is on there for free. Lots of free advice.
Wow, amazing. We will also come up with a magazine at Women of Wisdom. I don't know if you've heard about it, but we are coming up with a magazine, and may I invite you too to contribute to our magazine.
Oh, I'd love to. Yeah, that would be fantastic. Thank you.
And I might also I would also like to invite you to join our group. It's a group of empowered women making a difference in the world.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
I'm all for that.
You're in. Okay, we're the core group is on WhatsApp. We'll talk about this after. I mean, we'll talk about it more after our podcast. There you
Yeah.
go, Sarah Jane Clark. I hope you've learned from her and has been enriched again today. Thank you so much. Bye for now.